What's going on, everybody? So today in this video, what I'm going to be doing is answering your questions. So we get a lot of questions on the channel from YouTube on the videos. So I'm going to be going through some of those, answering them, talking through the solution to just some common Airtable questions. So if you're wanting to learn a little bit more about Airtable, I think this could be the video for you. This won't be specific advice on how to solve your exact solution unless you really resonate with one of these questions, but hopefully you can learn a little bit about Airtable in doing so. So what I have here is YouTube Studio pulled up, and we're going to be answering some of these. So the first one is, could you please answer my question around becoming a workflow automation specialist without being a project manager? Of course, I'm going to learn project management tools like Asana, Trello, Airtable. So the answer is yes, you can. So Airtable, super high ceiling. One of the use cases that you can do with Airtable is project management. We're actually doing a ton of project management workflows, replacing tools like replacing Asana, replacing Trello, replacing Smartsheets. These are all things you can do, but you can also do so many other things with Airtable other than just project management. This person said, basically, people got used to Excel, so they think rows and columns, an opening for everyone. This is completely accurate. So Airtable is Access, Excel, Google Sheets with Notion all put together. Also, one thing, none of these have a really sleek, I guess Notion has a popular like front end appearance, but Airtable has a nice front end that I don't really see in these other tools. I guess Notion has the closest thing to the front end. Has the database power of Access, has the formula and like spreadsheet feel. Well, it's not a spreadsheet, it has a spreadsheet feel and like the familiarity, ease of getting started like a spreadsheet as Excel and Google Sheets. I guess like it's Excel, it's like that. Like Google Sheets, it's online. So let's go back to more comments. So we did that one. Let's see, Airtable primary key is important. Lookup and rollup fields based on this are good. Yeah. What I always tell people are, if you can learn anything in Airtable, filtering is what you need to learn in order to properly know how to do good lookup fields and rollup fields. You need to know how to filter. Also, like this video right here, it goes through the relational database design of Airtable and how to set up a relational database design. If you can learn that, you're going to be further ahead than at least half of the Airtable users that we get started with. So yeah, this is incredibly important. Slowly, you are coming nearer to audience. Good. Still public are stuck in Excel format and brain database with Access, and others have demoralized. I think most people get started with data in Excel because it's so familiar. There's no structure to it, so it's just easy for you to get started in. Unfortunately, people get introduced to relational databases via Access, which most people don't enjoy going into. But people tend to, I think they like Excel because it kind of represents the way that they think, which is everybody thinks very unorganized. You don't think in terms of like, when I think about one of like our clients, I don't think, okay, they're a client, and then that client has many opportunities. That client like optimized. There's Ben, there's Charlie, there's Kelly, there's Jessica, and I had these interactions where three of them. Like, you don't think as structured as a database does. So most people, when they see Excel, they're like, oh, I can add this over here. I can have this like little thing on this spreadsheet in columns H, J, and I, and then I can add a formula right below that little subtable, and it's just like no structure. As you use Excel more and more, I think you do start using it in more of like a database-like format where you're using like VLOOKUPs and stuff like that. But yeah, it is easiest to get into it in Excel. But once you understand database concepts, Airtable is far more powerful, in my opinion. Primary key or field you have shown from scratch would help viewers. Of course, you are on some task and gave you the work video idea, especially record ID and auto numbers. Separate videos help. Anyways, good. Yeah, let's just talk real briefly about Airtable primary fields. So Airtable primary fields, this is the first field in the database. You can go watch this video that like this person commented on, you can go search that on my YouTube channel and learn more about that. But just to show a specific, like one of the things that I've went through a lot is project management on this YouTube channel. And I'm going to just share the template that I have here. Across the top here, these are tables in Airtable. Each one of these is a table. So people is a table, projects is a table, tasks is a table. This first field right here is the primary field in any of these. In fact, if you want to like confirm that Airtable thinks that's the primary field, you can click on Manage Fields, and you'll see it lists that as the primary field. A lot of times, to be honest, I'm not making this unique, like enforcing rules to where this first field, if we change this down here, that every record is unique. Sometimes that is very relevant, but it's not always relevant. So if you want to learn a lot about that primary field, I would encourage you to go watch the video, because a lot of times, like if we do need to make it unique and we really do need to treat it as a primary key, then we're going to do more with that. So that's like a key component, I'd say, of relational database. Relational databases is primary and foreign keys. So you could go research that. But if you have specific questions, home health care center, let me know. But usually if you're trying to make something unique, you just have to think what in that table makes that record unique. So if I'm looking at a companies table for us, I'm saying typically what makes a company unique is their domain. Most companies have just one primary domain. But some companies, they don't have a domain. So some people we work with, they're like an entity, but it's just like one person. But we want to still consider them a company. And so I would either say it's either a domain, or if they have one of these generic domains, what makes them unique is their name plus their email, their entire email. So that is a formula I would write. Isn't it possible to do this directly through Airtable Forms? So this one is a video. There's this tool called Fill Out, which is a popular Airtable. It's a third-party tool, popular to use with Airtable to enable people to update records in Airtable. You can technically achieve similar functionality to this, but it's just a little bit clunkier to set it up only with Airtable. What I mean by that last part, it updates the values when you refresh. It does that in Fill Out. Like if I send a link to somebody and I say, hey, update your profile, they update it. They refresh the form, it has the updated values. What this person is referencing is it technically is possible to do this through Airtable Forms, but you're most likely sending an email to somebody with like a pre-filled form, and when they refresh, they don't see their new values. So it's just a cleaner solution if you need somebody to update records where they don't have an Airtable license by using Fill Out. This is very nice of you. These are sometimes the best comments to get. Just people telling me that it was helpful. This person said, thanks for the tutorial. I want to change the primary field of my data, which is synced from Salesforce. I don't want to change the primary field in Salesforce, but I only want to change that in Airtable. This one, I'm not sure that there's going to be a great solution. If we just like come back here. The key is when you sync from when you're syncing, you may not exactly have a choice. Perhaps when you go create a new sync. So when you first set up your sync, so I don't have a Salesforce that I can use, so I'm just going to use this. When you first set up a sync, you should be able to like say which field, but it can't be like a new field in Airtable, like a formula field. So I would encourage you, like when you're doing the synced one, change it when you set it up, not afterwards. That would be my answer. Let's go back here. I'd encourage you to change it when you set it up, not afterwards, period. This may be too late if you've already really started working that synced table into your workflows. So syncing data from other sources is really common, to sync just different things into Airtable. This is awesome. You are welcome. Glad people found value. This is syncing Google Sheets into Airtable, another great concept. Wow. That's increased. This, awesome. This is like, has always been for years. This video is old. This has for years been a challenge, is automatically linking records in Airtable. So I'm glad people are still getting value out of this. Glad you are. Conditional visibility in Airtable detail pages and interfaces. It is a paid feature, but it is so worth it. We use this. We use it very extensively in our base that we share with clients and internally, because there's certain things you want certain people to be able to see, but other people not. And then there's also certain, like, you want certain functionality by sharing the same thing with multiple different users to increase collaboration. How do you activate dark mode? There's a Google Chrome extension called Dark Reader. But I'm just going to toggle the Dark Reader thing on this website, and you see it changes this website to dark mode. If I go back to Airtable and I do the same thing here, this was what that Mocha's snoring back there. You can see her. I'm going to toggle it on Airtable. This is what it looks like in dark mode, but typically it works. Yeah, this is what it looks like in the video in dark mode, which actually looks kind of cool. Very helpful at night when you have like a white screen, like I'm working in here sometimes at night and it's just super dark. So I like using the dark mode. So is this method better than record templates or just a way of doing task templates? I most likely showed a, let's see. I'd say this is a personal preference. Airtable has record templates, but I typically like doing task templates in a table, and this way I can enable interface-only collaborators to build their own task templates or edit the existing task templates. My only gripe really about record templates, other than there's just a little bit of lack of flexibility there, my biggest gripe is that you have to be you can't enable an interface-only user to create their own record templates. So I'd say this is just a personal preference because I like record templates to be editable via interface-only users, period. Record templates are only on the base level. The table method also gives you a little bit more flexibility. If you need to do task templates in Airtable, like you're doing project management, you have a task, it happens multiple times, and you want to just give your team a task tracker, this is a good video. I actually have a whole playlist on YouTube for project management in Airtable where I go through all of the a lot of different project management features. This is awesome feedback. Thank you. I need to copy across a list of 200 countries as a single select. Oh yeah, this one is a huge, this is just like a small Airtable hack, but oftentimes we have like a single select field and you want to copy it from one base to another base or from one table to another table. And you also want, maybe you've like really fine tuned the colors on it. This video is going to show you like how to copy from one base to another. Glad it was useful. Does this solution work to set up a task that has multiple predecessors? For example, task 6 and large depends on task 4 and task 5. Not any ideas. Would highly suggest the. So he's asking about task dependencies and tracking predecessors. So saying task 6 in large depends on task 4 and 5. So let's go check this out, see what this looks like in Airtable. So if I open up one of these, let's go open up a project. I'm going to change this to a timeline view. You can see here. Oh, actually, just one real quick thing. I want to open this up as a side view. I learned this like very recently in Airtable. I'm going to go to the editor mode and try to minimize some of this. But if you just want to open up the side view automatically, instead of clicking into this and then clicking expand task, go into the editor mode in Airtable, click on this, click on fields, and hide both fields. Now when you click on this, it automatically opens the side view, which is pretty nice. So here you can have predecessors. Let's publish this. What I wanted to show was basically with predecessors, like if I wanted to say a predecessor of this one, let's try making research plant care guidelines. This one has these two predecessors, and you see in this Gantt timeline view, it has both. So how you do this is go into the editor mode, wherever you're making your timeline view, over here on the right, like this one is the timeline. You can have it stacked or you can have it Gantt. Right there is how you make it Gantt, which is how you make predecessors show up. And that's what it looks like, which is pretty cool. So let's go back here to show multiple predecessors. All right, this one, I have a column named company domain, and it has some values. Some values are being repeated multiple times, so I want to count the number of repetitions and show it in another column called count. How do I do that? The gift domain is repeating twice. How to show count 2 in that column. Happy to show this. All right, we're going to use this one as an example. So this applies for like many different things. Let's just use a new field. Okay, so you want to show a count in a different field. I'd say before you try to get too complex, just try grouping by it and see if this count right here satisfies your needs. If that does not, then how you actually get the count in another field like that. What I suggest doing is changing, and maybe like just, if this is like a one-time thing, I'd suggest duplicating the field, double click on the field header, change this to a linked record, create a new table. This is going to be very messy, but just to show it. Here, you can then have a count to add a new field type, make it count of that linked record field right there. Go back to table 1, right click on your linked the field you converted to a linked record, and click add lookup fields and look up that count field. And now you have the count over here. One nice thing about this is you can group by the count and sort that. So you see, okay, Kelly had the most repeats. Ben had the next most. You can start consolidating these. So now Ben and Kelly both have 3. But that's because I misspelled this one. Charlie has 1. So this is how you, like, if you want to do exactly what that question said, that's what you would do. So I would say duplicate field, convert to linked record, add count field on new table. So here you're converting to a linked record where table is a new table. You got a count field on that table. Then on the table, look up the count field. That's how. Glad you found value. Glad that person found value. Also glad that person found value. Also glad that person found value. Also glad that person found value. You're welcome, Captain. Cap. My option doesn't have a drop-down box under formulas. I think you mean a single select field. So they recently added that under the formulas, but this question makes sense recently. Well, like it only makes sense after I release this video, so I'm not entirely sure what you mean by this. Do you mean a single select field? How to take away access once, can you please? Oh yeah. All right. I'll record a specific video on that topic. But not today. So I'm going to cut it here. I'll do another one of these if you guys found value from this, just talking about some Airtable concepts and replying to some comments, because we do get some good questions on here. So I hope you gain value. I hope you learned something. Maybe talking through some of these videos that I've posted helps spur an idea for you for what you want to learn. So I hope you found value, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll link a video here in the end screen if you do want to go learn about relational database design. I know we talked about that concept specifically. So if you want to go watch my video on that, click the video here in the end screen, and I'll see you there.